Hey guys, Ron here, and I've already made videos about my favorite Pokemon, or my personal favorite Pokemon of each type years ago, but what about the Pokemon that I think are the best? Because the Pokemon I love the most, and the ones I think are the best Pokemon are two totally different opinions. For example, my favorite normal type is Zangoose, for personal reasons, but I don't think it's the best normal type. It doesn't even look that normal. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the Pokemon I think are the best of their respective type, based on design, concept, appeal, lore, abilities, and most importantly, how well this Pokemon represents its type. Because the whole point of this video is that I want to know which Pokemon is the best at being a water, ground, or dark type. I'm judging everything but competitive battle prowess, because if you want to find out which Pokemon is the best at battle, you can easily look that up. Oh yeah, and no legendaries and mythicals, that's how it is. In the end, this is still a subjective opinion, because what I think makes a great Pokemon may not be what you think makes a great Pokemon. I'm gonna be objective based on my own subjective criteria. Understood? No? Too bad! Let's dive right into what I think is the best Fairy-type Pokemon. We're going backwards, my peeps! For Fairy-type, I picked Florges, and it was honestly way easier to determine than any other type. Not just because there aren't that many Fairy types, and definitely not just because Florges actually is a super strong Pokemon. The strongest on this list, I believe. But it's here because it's the only Fairy type that is an actual fairy. It's a flower nymph combined with a siren, and the flora it has on its neck also emphasize the entire nature aspect of the Fairy type. Sure, Sylveon, my favorite Fairy type, is pretty and all, but its fairiness, which definitely isn't a word, is just tacked on. It's just a beautiful Eevee. But Florges feels natural, and that's something we'll talk about in the next type. For Steel, I chose Aggron. And I know Aggron isn't the best Steel type competitively, but this is going to be the last time I'm going to say it. Even though a majority of the Pokemon here are amazing at battle, it doesn't really factor into my decision. We're all about concept, baby. And all the other Steel type contenders don't really represent the type as much as Aggron. Bisharp is a humanoid sharp dude, and not so many Steel types look like humans, so it doesn't really represent the type. Metagross, my favorite Steel type, is robotic. It doesn't really feel like an animal as much as the other Steel types do. Escavalier is a bug that wears armor. Aggron, on the other hand, isn't just some animal with steel on top like Scizor, and it's not sentient steel like Aegislash. Aggron is its own thing. It's a rock monster with iron armor that is fused to its body. No other Pokemon naturally implements metal into its design as much as Aggron. It looks really cool too and makes sense lore-wise, so it's the best Steel type in my opinion. When it comes to Dark, Zoroark wins. I'm not gonna lie, Darkrai really does represent every theme that the Dark type is all about. But I said no legendaries, and that includes mythicals, so it was a battle between a ton of Pokemon who do have what it takes to win, but I think Zoroark has it all. It has the maliciousness of my favorite Dark type, Malamar, and the speed and force of a Weavile. It's a trickster, yet not too destructive like Hydreigon. Houndoom may be runner-up, but while it literally looks like a hellhound, the design and personality of Zoroark screams Dark-type. This boy is shifty-looking, and out of all the options, it has the darkest of move pools and most malicious ability. Illusion is the essence of the Dark-type. For Ghost-type, Gengar fits the bill. I needed a ghost type that wasn't just an inanimate object like Trevenant or Cofagrigus, because as much as I love them, that's not what most ghost types are. Dusknoir is close, but it's more like a Grim Reaper than an actual ghost. Gengar is the most ghostly of them all. He's very traditional. He feels like other ghosts from various forms of media. He does what ghosts do. He spooks, he phases through objects, pops out of shadows, steals life force, and at times will kill you. Add that with its conventional yet original design, and you'll see that this monster is very well rounded and balanced in the ghost department. Dragon could have gone to Rayquaza or Ultra Necrozma, but you know the rules. In the end, it was a tough decision, but Salamence wins. While other dragon types have abilities and designs that stray away from their original dragon elements, the whole idea of a Salamence is that it's a dragon. Everything it does is because it's a dragon. Salamence, in my opinion, is a very refreshing take on a dragon too, since it's super bright and colorful. Hydreigon is the runner-up, but it has too many aspects to it that are separate from its dragon design. For example, if Hydreigon was to go on a rampage, you'd be like, ah, I get it, it's crazy because it's a dark type. If Mega Charizard came in and burnt everything, you'd say, ah, he's a fire type, that's what they do. But if Salamence was to show up and destroy everything and someone was to ask, hey, what's his deal? The answer would probably be, ah, he's just a dragon. That's the stupid reasoning for my choice. Bug was actually one of the hardest, but ultimately, Heracross won. This type had the most entries and candidates because a lot of bug types are pretty buggy. The problem is, a lot of Pokemon I could choose from don't have the balance I'm seeking. Vikavolt, Pinsir, Yanmega, Volcarona, Araquanid, and Galvantula are too bug-like. They're relatively creepy, which is good, but they don't have the pocket monster aspect of an intelligent appearance. They look too much like their origin. My favorite bug type, Scyther, which barely looks like a mantis, isn't buggy enough, it's kinda dragon-like. Same with Ribombee. While I love Leavanny and Scolipede, they aren't too popular. And Vespiquen has an entire gimmick that other bug types don't have. It's pretty unique. That's why Heracross won. It resembles the bug it's based on, but looks endearing. He could be your partner on a journey. Scizor is a runner-up though, but again, this opinion could change tomorrow. My favorite ice type, Avalugg, is actually one of the least popular ice types, so for ice, we have Walrein. Again, I don't think any evolutions will win in this video. Glaceon just doesn't look like any other ice type. While Alolan Ninetales is beautiful, I don't feel comfortable giving it this spot when it's originally associated with the fire type, even if I should. In the end, I was looking for an ice type Pokemon that is based on an animal that lives in the ice, a Pokemon that inherently looks like it could be an ice type. Mamoswine is a runner-up, but Walrein combines all the elements of the Arctic into its design. Its whiskers even look like snow. When it comes to everything aside from battling, I can't really find a flaw with this Pokemon. Rock was also hard. It's always been hard. Gigalith wins. I wasn't looking for a Pokemon who's just an animal with rocks on it. Some of the rock type candidates are associated with the type because they're either partially fossilized, petrified, or have some kind of rock shell or armor, but I don't want the rock elements to be tacked on. Tyranitar's cool, but it never looked like a rock type. In the end, it came down to Golem and Gigalith, but I personally believe that Gigalith is stronger and has a much more creative design. While I love Golem, it has a random lizard face and limbs that come out of nowhere, but everything about Gigalith is rock related and makes sense. Even its eyes, which may actually be ears, aren't just some eyeballs, they're geodes. It's a creature made of rock, not just some animal with rocks on it. If someone didn't know what a rock type was, I'd show them this monster. Psychic goes to Alakazam. When you think about it, it's simply the most original Psychic type design. Its power set is the most general of the Psychic types too, because while other Psychic Pokemon represent different aspects of ESP, this Pokemon kinda represents it all. Gardevoir is cool, but not all Psychic types are humanoid or feminine. It would give the wrong impression. Alakazam is humanoid with vague animal inspirations that make sense, since goats, foxes, and cats are all associated with the Psychic type. And at the end of it all, we're ideally looking for the Pokemon that represent all the most common aspects of the type, and Alakazam does it. I can say that Ground was extremely difficult, especially since Groudon couldn't be the winner, but Sandslash wins. Listen as to why. A lot of ground types don't even look like ground types and don't have any earth elements on them, like Nidoking, Donphan, Garchomp, Crocodile, Excadrill, or Flygon. Their association with the ground is more about their abilities or environment, not how they look. That's why I had to find a Pokemon that looks like a ground type and does earth-related things. Golem is too rock-like and not many ground types just have rocks on them. The only two that I want to showcase are Hippowdon and Sandslash. But Hippowdon mostly represents sand, which is one aspect of the type, but Sandslash, while it is called Sandslash, can dig anywhere and looks like it can dig anywhere. It's also based on an animal that is heavily associated with the ground, so Sandslash, when it comes to theme, design, origins, and abilities, represents the ground type the most. Honestly, I may just like Sandslash more than the average person. Now I take back what I said about the evolutions, cause for Electric, Jolteon wins. The electric type is filled with so many different animals, mostly mammals, and what better Pokemon to represent them than the one who looks like a vague mammalian, is a speedy special attacker, and has such an electrifying design. It screams static and thunder. Like most of the other winners, it has a general control of electricity. My favorite electric type, Luxray, is all about X-rays, and like Electivire, is too intimidating to represent the type that is filled with the cutest critters of them all. Ampharos is too unique in its design. No other electric type looks like it, and Raichu will always be overshadowed by Pikachu. Zebstrika and Manectric are runner-ups for their appearance. However, Jolteon is more popular and better in battle, but those are only factors when we have to break a tie. When it comes to poison, Nidoking wins. Not only is it awesome looking, but its design and abilities all serve to show how poisonous this Pokemon is. It also produces both venom and poison and is an amalgamation of multiple animals. And when it comes to this challenge, general designs work. The only one that comes close is Toxicroak, who at least is based on a poisonous animal. Of course, I want to give grass to Sceptile, but it's not the best depiction of any grass type. That would go to Torterra. Not only does it have plants growing on its body, like a lot of grass types do, its origin, the world turtle, is also associated with the earth and its bounty. Torterra is also the only Pokemon on this list that represents another type very well, while still being a champion of its primary type. This is a creature of grass, moss, trees, and the soil that produces them. And while it's more monstrous than most grass types, it makes up for that by being a gentle giant. While Sceptile is the king of the forest, Torterra is the spirit animal of the forest. Flying goes to Braviary. It honestly had to go to a cool looking bird, and based on personal opinion, it's the coolest of the final stage bird Pokemon. Altaria is a runner-up since it actually does represent the sky more than any other flying type, but after further consideration, I realized that the flying type symbolizes the power of flight, not the sky, and Braviary is the best at battling mid-flight. That's what it's all about. It's the master of flight, so it wins. Fighting was simple. Every single fighting type Pokemon represents a different form of martial arts, so they're all valid. They all practice different fighting styles, but Machamp wins for being a general fighter. It chops, it punches, it lifts. It's simply a bodybuilder, but its muscles aren't just for show. It's the superpower Pokemon. That's the martial art this Pokemon uses. Pure power. That's it. None of that hippie aura that our runner-up Lucario uses. Fire is the only type in which my favorite also wins. Arcanine is in my opinion the best fire type. Rapidash was going to win because it does have the most magnificent combination of type and origin. It's a horse on fire. That's pretty epic. And when you think about it, half of the fire types are just animals on fire. But the other half isn't on fire. And of the ones that don't combust, yet still look like a fire type, I naturally just believe Arcanine has everything going for it. All the things that make a Pokemon great, this legendary Pokemon has. Same goes for our water winner, Lapras. My favorite is Vaporeon, but a huge chunk of water types aren't mammalian. Gyarados is up there, but water types aren't exclusively fish. We need a Pokemon that is both aquatic and has land-dwelling blood. The problem with Feraligatr is that it's too land-dwelling and it has no aquatic features. It's just blue and is based on an animal that can be found in the water. But Lapras has fin-like flippers, or are they flipper-like fins? It's an aquatic dinosaur, and that's actually a better combination of water and land than most. It's also super friendly, yet fierce. Strong, yet cuddly. Greninja was a candidate, but its ninja origins kinda muddy up the water aspect. Its abilities and stats don't coincide with most water types, and it could easily be a grass or poison type if it wasn't blue. So, Lapras wins. And for normal, I was a bit conflicted. Snorlax was gonna take it, but honestly, it's pretty abnormal. It has the ability to eat a ton and is immune to a lot of poisons. This Pokemon is pretty superpowered. It's a beast, and for the normal type, I want a Pokemon whose strength and abilities are as normal as they get, without being too boring, and also while being physically strong. So what is in my opinion the most normal, yet still adorable Pokemon? Stoutland. It's a dog. It's a dog! I mean, it's super strong relative to all the other early root normal types, and what it specializes in is saving people in all sorts of situations. This Pokemon is a superhero, but doesn't use any supernatural powers to do what it does. It's intelligent, good-natured, brave, and physically capable. It has all the awesome abilities that any normal person or dog could have, if they were perfect. That's why Stoutland wins. And you can win by leaving a like and subscribing if you enjoyed. Make sure to check the description for all the music I used, the links for my Facebook and Twitter, which I really need you to follow, and my Patreon, where you can help out and get cool rewards, like seeing videos days early. There's also a link for the t-shirts I made for you guys, so check that out. I'll see you guys very soon.